Welcome back, students. Now, the name of the chapter is Alternating Current, AC. This is the very small, simple, and having good weightage among your CET, NEET, and JEE exams. So, alternating current, we have discussed I is equal to I naught sine omega t. This is the alternating current generated by AC generator. So it has come from the expression E is equal to E naught sine omega t. Okay, this is what instantaneous values. These are the instantaneous values of current and EMF, whereas I naught and E naught values are the peak values that already I have told you. Those are called the peak values. Now, look at here. What are we going to do? I is equal to I naught sine omega t or E is equal to E naught sine omega t. I'm just going to represent the graphical form. So that's a sine graph, right? So let me draw the graphical representation here. If you carefully observe, this is the graph related to EMF. So that is peak value E naught, and this is negative peak value minus E naught. So now current value also I can represent here. So imagine this is the current value. There is no phase difference here. So this is what the current I naught, and this is the current minus I naught. Students, there is no phase difference, right? So phase difference, let me write the phase difference in this case, it is 0. Phi is equal to 0 degrees. Okay, so this is 0, and this is the time t by 4, and this is also called 90 degrees, and this is 180 degrees, it is t by 2, and this is t by 2, which is 3t by 4, and which is 270 degrees, and this is 360 degrees, and this is a time period t. All right, so half of the wave, the time period is t half. Full wave time period is t, and you know this angles also. As there is no phase difference, we have got the graph for this like this. For example, if there is a phase difference, imagine, my dear students, let me write E is equal to E naught sine omega t, and I is equal to I naught sine omega t plus phi. So the phase difference here, it's a pi. The phase difference is pi here, right? So in this case, how the graph will be looks like, and look at this current is leading. So phase difference, whenever you are going to find out, listen to this. Phase difference, whenever you are going to find between these two functions, both must be having the same function, sine and sine. So this is called the phase difference. Okay, so here the current, we can say the current is leading. In this case, according to this, I can say the current is leading the voltage. Remember, like this leading and lagging concepts we'll be learning in the further slides. Okay, I is equal to I naught sine omega t plus phi is equal to E naught sine omega t. Right now, what are we going to do in these cases? How the graphs looks like, I'll show you here in a rough manner. So this is what my induced EMF, this is E naught, and this is a minus E naught, and the current is leading, means current has started somewhere like this. Look at this, look at this, look at this, students. Current has already started like this. See, current has started. This is called the leading part. Leading by what phase difference? Is a phi. This is phi. That may be from here to here, the phase difference. So that may be some pi by 2 or 2 pi by 3 or pi by 4, anything. Okay, so this is about the phase and phase difference. So I'm not going to the deeper concepts of the what is phase difference, and those are the basic concepts also. You have already studied in the lower classes and you have already studied in your regular classes. All right, and I believe it is not the right time to discuss all those things because it's done. Now you're not in the first PUC. You're going to give your final attempt. Okay, now alternating current, the next part, listen carefully, very important. I'm writing a relation here. I naught is greater than I average is greater than I RMS. Carefully go through this very important relation. What is this relation? If you have little basics with you, you will understand. What is that? I naught is a peak value. I average is the average current value. I RMS is root mean square value. I naught is this one, the peak value of current. In a cycle, in a function, I naught, you know, I average maybe for, let me write. So this I average and I RMS will have the time limits. Will have the time limits that may be from 0 seconds to t by 2 seconds, 0 seconds to t by 4 seconds, and t by 2 to time period t seconds, and 0 to time period t seconds. So that means for full cycle, for half cycle, for 1/4 cycle, for 3/4 cycle, like that we find I average and I RMS. Okay, I average and I RMS. I naught value is constant for a given function. Look at here. This is I naught. The peak value is constant for a given function. I average and I RMS values will be varies, right? So carefully observe. Let's focus on I average. Students, I average and I RMS both are equally important. I average is equal to, listen, integral I dt divided by integral dt. I told you this will have the time limits. So 0 to t by 2, for example. This is also 0 to t by 2. All right, this is the I average expression, my dear students. This is the I average expression. And observe carefully, integral I dt is nothing but the area under, integral I dt is nothing but what? Area under I and t graph. Area under I and t graph, that is integral I dt. Okay, now what is IRMS, my dear children? IRMS is equal to square root integral I square dt divided by integral dt. Okay, this is the formula for IRMS. So generally we will be writing like this: I square RMS. That means the square root will come to the left side, that will become square. So which is integral I square dt divided by integral dt. So these are the expressions for IRMS. This is an expression for I average. This is an expression for I RMS or I square RMS. And listen, integral I dt is nothing but area under IT graph. And students, have a look at it. One important thing I just wanted to mention here, very important part I will tell you. Listen, students, very important. So look at this graph. So look at this graph, students. Look at this. So in this graph, from for half cycle, listen, for half cycle or full cycle, IRMS values remain same. That is very important. For half cycle or full cycle, IRMS values will be same. But for half cycle or full cycle, I average value will be varies. Okay, alternating current can be from alternating current. There are three types of current you can find. Number one is peak value of current, number two average value of current, and number three RMS value of the current. Okay, for half cycle, for every time duration, for example, for half cycle, for 1/4 of the cycle, For 3/4 of the cycle, for the complete cycle, I average values will keep on changes, but I RMS value will not change. So that is the reason RMS value we will be learning more and more in this chapter, and you can expect a question also from here, right? IRMS. Now, I hope you are confident about the formulas, and let's discuss now. Okay. All right. And let's see this. Find I average from the graph half cycle. Okay. So now the graph they have not mentioned, and I'm giving you the rough graph. Okay. Graph they have not mentioned. I am just giving you the rough graph. Listen carefully, students. So this is what the graph, this is what the triangle shape of, this is VRI, and this is time, for example, right? Triangular wave of alternating current. This is triangle shape. So it can be rectangle shape. It can be like half circles, what we have discussed, the sine curve. It's a positive half cycle, a negative half cycle, students, it's 0. And this is T by 2. And this is the peak value of current I0. Understand? So now students, what is I average from the graph for half cycle? Half cycle means from 0 to T by 2. What is I average? So I average is equal to integral I dt divided by integral dt. So what is that? 0 to T by 2. This is 0 to T by 2. From 0 to T by 2, students, from 0 to T by 2, what is the area under the graph? What is the area under the graph? That is what the numerator, right? So numerator is area of the given graph portion from 0 to T by 2. Integral dt is T, and it will have the limit 0 to T by 2. Area of the graph, students, I average is equal to area of the graph. It is a triangle, half into base. Base is T by 2 into height, that's I0, divided by limits if you apply, that is T by 2. So here T by 2 cancel, and you can write I0 by 2. I average in this case is I0 by 2. So as we are talking about the first half, which is a positive half cycle, you get this one. For the negative half cycle, I average is equal to minus I0 by 2. The total I average is equal to 0 in this case. Average current in this case is 0, because for full cycle, understand, for full cycle it's 0. Now find RMS value of current from 0 to 1 second, and it's given current I is equal to 3T. Okay, so let me write separately. You may not visible that, it may not be visible. I'll write it. So I is equal to 3T. We need to find IRMS, students. We need to find IRMS between 0 seconds to 1 second, and let's move on. Let's do that. IRMS formula is what? I square RMS is equal to integral I square dt divided by integral dt. The limits are 0 to 1 second, 0 to 1 second here. So I square RMS is equal to, what is that? Integral I square dt. Here I is equal to 3t, right? So 3t whole square into dt, that's integral dt 0 to 1 and 0 to 1. Okay, here, so 3 square, it's 9. Integral t square, it's t cube by 3. The limits are 0 to 1 divided by integral dt is t, and the limits are 0 to 1. Okay, this is 3 3s are. So I square RMS is equal to 3, right? I square RMS is equal to 3. T cube, limits when you apply, that will become 1. This is also becomes 1. That's why 3 ampere. So IRMS, if you want, that will be root 3 ampere, students. IRMS, if you want, that will be root 3 ampere, students. Okay, clear? Now So there are three important model questions for the NEET exam, CET exam, JEE exam. There are three model questions what I have mentioned here that may be for the NEET, CET and a JEE exam, right? Any exam, these are the three commonly asked type questions from AC chapter, especially based on RMS current. Okay, now I is equal to 2 cos omega t plus 5. So they are asking IRMS, whatever it may be. IRMS is equal to I naught by root 2. So IRMS is equal to I naught by root 2. So what is the answer? Root 2 ampere, students. And it's not only IRMS, and sometimes ERMS also, E naught by root 2. No confusions. IRMS is equal to I naught by root 2. So this is the relation between peak value and RMS value. Right, first model is done. Very basic, you can say, for CET level of questions, and this is very important. So there is a DC current, right? So there is a AC current, both have mixed and passing through a wire. And what is the IRMS? And it is so simple. Generally, IRMS, I square RMS is equal to integral I square dt by integral dt. This is what the formula generally we will use, and we'll find the answer. So in the place of this I, we will be substituting this. For example, how we'll solve, I'll tell you. 3 plus 4 root 2 cos omega t whole square into dt divided by integral dt. The limits, if they mention that, imagine mostly for RMS current, the limits they will take the full cycle. This is how you go on and solve this final answer. But this is the time to learn the shortcut tricks also. And I remember I have discussed this shortcut trick in one of the classes. So this IRMS, which is equal to square root IDC square plus square root IAC square. Listen, IAC square. So this is equal to square root IDC square is 3 square, it's 9, plus IAC square. So this complete square, if you do, nothing will get it. So from here, AC current means this one. This is IRMS. Sorry, this is I naught. So from here, IAC, if you get it, that is 4 root 2 by root 2. So that is 4. I hope you understand. From this part, IAC means I naught by root 2, that is 4 you got. 4 square is 16. So now your answer is 5 ampere. I hope it's very, very, very easy and you all are understanding this. The formula you try to remember. IRMS in this case, one DC current and AC current is mixed. For example, when AC current, one is of sine function, another one is of cos function, is mixed. And how to find the IRMS? For this also shortcut will be there. If not, if you don't want to use the shortcut, and use this kind of method, that's it, right? So the shortcut, I will tell you, listen carefully. IRMS is equal to square root I1 square plus I2 square divided by 2. Simple. Square root I1 square plus I2 square divided by 2. So IRMS is equal to square root I1. This is I1. And this is I2. One is with a sine function, another one is with a cos function. What is that? 3 square 9. 4 square 16 by 2. So the answer is 5 by root 2 ampere. I hope 3 different model of questions you have learned now, right now. Okay. Okay, students, and let's move on to the next part. Okay, fine. When alternating current is applied to resistor, inductor, and capacitor, what happens? One by one, let us check. Simple. This is what a resistor of resistance R. When an alternating source is connected to it. So the alternating source EMF is E naught sine omega t. Understand? So if you want ERMS, so students tell me, if you want ERMS, you will be doing E naught by root 2. Okay, fine. Now in this case, if you use the Kirchhoff's laws, my dear students, and you will be getting I is equal to I naught sine omega t. So there is no phase difference between these two. These two functions, there is no phase difference. This is called the resistive circuit. This is called the resistive circuit. Okay, so I'll write here. So this is called the resistive circuit, my dear students, and observe. So this is the EMF and this is the current, no phase difference. So this is called the phasor diagram. This is called the phasor diagram. So the current and the EMF are represented along the same line. This is the phasor diagram. So now here the important thing is that average power is equal to IRMS square into R. IRMS is I naught by root 2 whole square into R. So this can be written as P average is equal to I naught square by 2 into R. I naught square by 2 into R. This is very important and this is very important, and no phase difference. Phasor diagram is like this. This is called resistive circuit and resistance is R, right? In the same way, P average can also be written like this. P average can also be written like this. ERMS into IRMS. IRMS is I naught by root 2. ERMS is E naught by root 2. That is why I have discussed that. Okay. Now the same concept let us discuss by using the inductor, my dear students. Inductor. Okay. Simple. So here there is an inductor of inductance L. An alternating source is connected to this. E is equal to E naught sine omega t. So here, if you use the Kirchhoff's laws, I is equal to, you get like this. I is equal to I naught sine omega t minus pi by 2. What's the phase difference here? What's the phase difference here? Pi by 2. And according to the previous slides, now tell me, here the current is leading or lagging? Here the current is leading or lagging? Here the current is lagging. Okay, clear. So this is the circuit called inductive circuit. Students, this is the circuit called inductive circuit. Now, in inductive circuit, carefully see, if you say this is EMF, this part, and the current is lagging. So this is what the current I value. The current is lagging by what angle? By pi by 2. This is the phasor diagram. You know, the interesting thing is average power in case of inductive circuit is 0. For the full cycle, average power in case of inductive circuit is 0. Okay, clear? Now, one more interesting thing. Listen, here there is a concept of resistance here. You know, V is equal to IR, right? And R is equal to V by I, right? Observe. R is equal to V by I. You know what is this R? So this R, in this case, it is called XL. This is called inductive reactance. Inductive reactance. This is X suffix L. Inductive reactance is equal to omega into L. So this can be written as 2 pi into frequency omega into L. So the graphs also, sometimes the questions will be asked. This is XL, this is frequency. So the graph is directly proportional. And this is XL and this is L. The graph is directly proportional. So how the directly proportional relationship also you know, right? This is about inductive circuit. What are the formulas here? It's a pure inductive circuit and there is a phase difference between electric current and the EMF. average power of the inductive circuit is 0, and resistance is inductive reactance, XL is omega L and 2 pi F into L. Okay. Now capacitive circuit, I hope you are following. I hope you all are following. So now this is capacitive circuit, what we are discussing. Capacitive circuit, it's so simple than other two. There is a capacitor and the source EMF is connected here. E is equal to E naught sine omega t. You know, the current I, you get it as I naught sine omega t plus pi by 2. The phase difference is pi by 2 here. Here, students, the current is leading. And how the current is leading, you can see this is EMF E, the current is leading, this is I. Okay, current is leading by an angle pi by 2. And here also average power is equal to 0. And here the resistance is called XC, which is equal to 1 by omega C. So which is equal to 1 by 2 pi F into C. Okay. So sometimes the question will be asked like this. This is XC, this is frequency. It is inversely proportional. And XC1 by XC2 is equal to F2 by F1. Based on this also some questions were asked in JEE exams. Not only in CET, in JEE exams also these questions were asked. Right? What all the areas you need to focus, everything we have discussed. It's a pure capacitive circuit, and the resistance also we discussed, and the graphs also important. It's a pure capacitive circuit, right? You just go through this once again. Just go through this once again. We will combine all these three components in a one circuit that's called LCR circuit. That's called what? LCR circuit. When AC current is connected to LCR circuit, and listen, my dear students, it's L, this C, this is R. LCR circuit, which is connected in series combination. LCR circuit connected in series combination. Okay. We'll solve the numericals also after this slide. See here. So EMF is connected. Sometimes, see, this EMF is generally E naught sine omega t. No confusions. Here they have taken as this V. This is V naught. That's it. Imagine voltage across this inductor is more than voltage across the capacitor. We know V is equal to IR. I is same because it is a series combination. It is a series combination. Same current will flow through all the components. So then I is constant. V is directly proportional to resistance. That means voltage across the inductor is more. That means resistance across the inductor is also more. X suffix L is what? So is it inductive reactance? Yes, it is inductive reactance. Okay, resistance across the inductor, that's called inductive reactance. Okay, so remember this. Now the phasor diagram for LCR circuit, listen. So this is the current direction and this is voltage across the resistor. So resistor voltage and the current, no phase difference. So when it comes to capacitor, current is when it comes to capacitor, current is leading. Yes or no? See here, current is leading. When it comes to inductor, current is lagging. See here, voltage and current is lagging. This is voltage, current is leading. Remember this. So now this is VL, this is VC. VL is, for example, 40 volt and VC, for example, 20 volt. The difference is 20 volt, right? And which is dominant? VL is dominant. That is why it's written like this. See, VL minus VC in the upward direction. And VR, resistive circuit voltage, is as it is. And now this is what the net EMF of the LCR circuit. So what is the formula? Square root VR square net EMF is equal to square root VR square plus VL minus VC whole square. As we have discussed, voltage is directly proportional to resistance, and this can also be written as VL minus VC can be written as XL minus XC. Right, and this voltage across the resistor can be replaced with resistance because voltage across the components is directly proportional to their resistances. So this value I can write it as net resistance of the circuit. It's called R square plus XL minus XC whole square. So this is called impedance. This is called impedance. All right. This is called impedance. Now, so the impedance value you have got this one. So for the complete LCR circuit, if you want the current, I is equal to V by Z. So the net current is equal to net voltage by net resistance. So V means this one, Z means this one. Okay, and look at this angle phi. And this phi is called power factor. So what is that phi called? It's a power factor, my dear students. So sorry, this cos phi is called power factor. See, phi, you know, the cos phi is called the power factor. And what is power factor here? Cos phi is equal to adjacent side divided by hypotenuse, R by Z. So in case of LCR circuit, average power is equal to ERMS into IRMS into power factor. Very important average power concept we have discussed for LCR circuit. Average power concept for LCR circuit we have discussed, students. Observe. Now, about the quality factor, bandwidth, half power points, those are just formulae. You just refer your books, whatever the books you have, you just refer your books, you will understand all those things, just the formula. Now here itself there is a topic called LC oscillations here. LC oscillations. Here L, inductor. In inductor, the energy is stored in the form of magnetism. In capacitor, the energy is stored in the form of electrical energy. And the oscillations of magnetic energy and electrical energy called LC oscillations. And they oscillate with a frequency F is equal to 1 by 2 pi root LC. F is equal to 1 by 2 pi root LC. That's called a resonance frequency. That's called what frequency? Resonance frequency, my dear students. In LCR circuit also, the condition for resonance will take place. Carefully observe. If VL is equal to VC, that means XL is equal to XC. Substitute XL is equal to XC. What happens? XL is equal to XC. This will become 0. So root R square, it's just R. So Z is equal to R, my dear students. So that means complete LCR circuit will become a pure resistive circuit. Students, listen. Complete LCR circuit is becoming a pure resistive circuit, because impedance of the LCR circuit is becoming resistance of the resistive circuit. When at case of resonance, when it is taking place, in case of resonance, the signal strength is exactly high. The signal strength is peak value. So I have given you the best example also. So in the olden days, we have the tuners, radio tuner and TV tuner. When you are tuning it at one particular point, the signal strength is very high and the audio will be very clear, or the video is very clear. So that particular condition of the signal strength reaching to the peak value, that's called the resonance. And at resonance, observe carefully, my dear students, I is equal to V by Z. Impedance value is becoming very less. Previously, impedance is this much. Now the impedance is only R. So then the current will reach its peak value at resonance. Okay, students, clear? And the resonant frequency is 1 by 2 pi root L into C. Sometimes a question will be given, L they'll give, C they will give. They'll ask you to find resonant frequency. That's it, no confusions. Okay. The maximum concepts related to LCR circuit we have covered here. The maximum concepts related to LCR circuit we have covered here, right? One. We'll move to the next. We'll move to the next. Let's solve the numericals. The instantaneous values of current and voltage in an AC circuit, respectively, I is equal to 4 sine omega t and E is equal to 100 cos omega t, the phase difference between voltage and current. Students, I have told you the phase difference when you are finding. Students, the phase difference when you are finding, so both should have the same functions, right? So current I is equal to 4 sine omega t and E is equal to 100 sine omega t plus pi by 3 plus pi by 2. Understand? So this is the value is nothing but cos omega t plus pi by 3. Sin 90 plus theta ma, cos theta. No confusions. So generally most of the students will write this is omega t, this is omega t plus pi by 3, 5 sin, this phase difference is pi by 3. No, that's 100% wrong. 100% wrong. So now you can check for the sign. You can check for the phase difference. So this is sine omega t. This is sine omega t plus something. This is called the phase difference. So phi value is equal to pi by 2 plus pi by 3. So this is 6 is the LCM here, and it is 5 pi by 6. Yes, of course, this is the answer, 5 pi by 6. So my dear students, I hope you understand this thing. Let's move to the next question. Students, look at here. This is the question based on LCR circuit. In the given circuit, let me change my pen here. In the given circuit, the reading of voltmeters V1 and V2 are 300 volts each. So what is V1? Yes, this is VL. And what is V2? This is VC. Yes. Whenever VL is equal to VC, can I say this is 300 volt? And can I say this is the condition of the resonance? 100% it says. Now, the reading of voltmeter V3 and ammeter A respectively. Reading of voltmeter V3. Okay, how much is V3? And the current flowing through the circuit is how much? That's a question. Listen. Carefully see, students. And the voltage we apply is always called ERMS. How much ERMS here? 220 volt. Listen. The voltage we apply is ERMS. For example, if you apply a voltage like a 400 sine omega t, how much voltage it takes, you know, this is called ERMS. So, okay, ERMS is equal to E naught by root 2 volt. This is the voltage applied to the circuit. If they give directly some voltage, that is nothing but 220 volts, that is nothing but the ERMS. For example, if they gave this pattern, so here the voltage applied to be considered as E naught by root 2, that is ERMS. Fine. Coming back to this. Resonance condition. So resonance condition, what happened? Complete circuit resistance will be equal to resistance of the resistive circuit, 100 ohm. All right. I is equal to that is IRMS. In this circuit, IRMS is equal to ERMS divided by R. So IRMS is equal to, what is ERMS here? It's a 220 volts divided by, so what is that? It's a 100. So this is 0, 0 cancel, and it is 2.2 ampere. Current passing through circuit as well as current passing through this resistor also the same. What is the potential across that resistor? V3 is equal to IRMS into resistance. That's a 2.2 into 100. So I can say it is 220 volt. Across this 220 volts is the potential applied, and the current passing through the circuit is 2.2 amperes. Okay, students, clear? And we'll move to the next question. This is the question already we have discussed in our classroom. So this is V1. Listen, students, V1 is given. What is V1? Voltage across, listen, V1 is voltage across inductor minus voltage across capacitor. It is given as 40 volt. Generally, students will think that, see, across this V1 is given. Generally, students will think, see, across this V1 is given means VL is this one, VC is this one, and VL is equal to VC is given as 40 volt. Like this, they'll think that's wrong. The combination is mentioned. So we have drawn the phasor diagrams also. I hope you remember. This is VR and this is VL and this is VC. Okay. So this combination, how we have written? We have written as well VL minus VC. That is what given. Okay. Now voltage across the resistance is called V2. That we need to find out how to do that. And it is E given as E0 sin omega t. Now the total potential is equal to square root VR square plus VL minus VC whole square. This V is VRMS, so that is ERMS, which is equal to square root VR square plus VL minus VC, means it's a 40 square. And this ERMS, how to find out? See, this is E0, right? So ERMS is equal to, students, E0 by root 2. What is that? 50 root 2 by root 2. It's a 50 volt. So I can write 50 square is equal to VR square plus 40 square. So this is 50 square minus 40 square is equal to VR square. So what can I write? It is 100. Right? A square minus B square. A plus B into A minus B. Right? A plus B, sorry. A plus B, it's a 90. A minus B, it's 10, which is equal to VR square. So it's 900 is equal to VR square. So VR is equal to 30 volts, students. Okay, ma'am? Like these questions will be asked based on LCR circuit. Based on LCR circuit. Right. We'll go to the next. Now the concept is transformer. Students, now the concept is transformer. So this is the AC source is applied here. This is the primary coil, right? So whatever is visible here, that is called the primary coil. Number of turns in the primary coil is N suffix P. Current passing through the primary coil is I suffix P. Voltage across the primary coil is V suffix P. Here also the same. Secondary coil, number of turns. Voltage across the secondary coil. Current passing through the secondary coil. The transformer will work on the principle of mutual induction, students. Transformer will work on the principle of mutual induction. And about mutual induction, you know already. Here the point you should understand, in the transformer, high voltage current will be converted into low voltage and vice versa at constant power and at a constant frequency. This conversion takes place at a constant power, at a constant frequency. This conversion takes place, high voltage into low voltage into high voltage. If the number of turns in the secondary coil is more than the number of turns in the primary coil, and this kind of transformer is called step-up transformer. If the number of turns in the primary coil is more than the number of turns in the secondary coil, and this is called a step-down transformer. Step-up transformer, low voltage current will be converted into high voltage. Step-down transformer, high voltage currents will be converted into low voltage current, but this process will take place at a constant power. That is very important. So this NS by NP, this is called the transformer ratio. Students, it's called transformer ratio, NS by NP. Now, one more important and interesting thing. So voltage across the secondary coil by voltage across the primary coil is equal to number of turns in the secondary coil by number of turns in the primary coil. So this is also called the transformer ratio. Remember this expression, students. It is also called the transformer ratio. Remember this expression. Now, as the power is constant, power is equal to VI. So from here, V is inversely proportional to I. I can write Vs by Vp is equal to Ip by Is, which is equal to Ns by Np. All together, the very important thing, all together, a very important thing you try to understand. Majority of the questions you get it from here. I'll show you the two formulas from where the questions will come. And other than the formulas, sometimes, see, there is no surprise if they're given a question in the NEET exam also. What is the principle behind transformer? That's a mutual induction. All right. And at a constant power, the conversion takes place from high voltage to low voltage and low voltage to high voltage. Now here, what is needed from your side, what is needed here is yes, students, efficiency of a transformer, eta is equal to output power divided by input power. Efficiency is equal to output power by input power. Output power is what? This is output, right? Output power is P secondary into I secondary. Input power is, let me write that also, VSIS by VPIP. So that is the input power and output power concepts and efficiency. Okay, clear? So this is how the concept will be there, and let's see the numericals related to this. If the number is not visible here, I'm just reading it. Listen. The number of turns in a primary and secondary coil of a transformer is 50 and 200. If this number is not visible, I'm reading out. Okay. Number of turns in the primary coil they have given as 50. And number of turns in the secondary coil they have given us 200. The current in the primary coil is 4 ampere. I suffix P is 4 ampere. Then the current in the secondary coil is I suffix S is how much? Simple. What we are discussed, Vs by Vp is equal to Ns by Np is equal to Ip by Is. I hope you remember, because voltage and the current are inversely proportional. When the voltage is more, current will be less. Voltage is less, current will be more. At a constant power, this will take place. Okay, high voltage and low currents will be converted into low voltage high currents. That's the transformer, vice versa. That's the duty of the transformer. Okay, now here we need these two relations because voltage is not mentioned. Ns it's 200, by Np it's 50, Ip it's 4, by Is. So this is 5 force. So I can write Is is equal to 1 ampere. That's it, 1 ampere. Okay, students, read this question and solve this. Read this question and solve this. So this is the homework. After the class, you solve this. This is the homework. Okay, clear? Now, this is the last part of this. Last part of this alternating current. This is electromagnetic wave. This is another chapter actually. All right. So this is the very simple chapter, and the questions also you can expect one question in the NEET and one question in the CET. You can expect one question in the CET and one question in the NEET. You can expect. That's what this electromagnetic waves. They create electric field and magnetic fields. They are perpendicular, and this electromagnetic wave is a transverse wave. This electromagnetic wave carry momentum and energy. Electromagnetic wave travels with the speed of light in air or vacuum. So this is C is equal to 1 by root 2 mu naught into epsilon naught. Mu naught value, epsilon naught value, you substitute here, you will get speed of light. Okay. And instantaneous magnetic and electric fields are related by this expression. E by B is equal to C, and that is called velocity selector. Also, we have already discussed. The cross product of E bar cross B bar will gives you the direction of electromagnetic wave. Remember, direction of the electric field, it's not electromagnetic wave direction. Direction of the magnetic field, it's not the direction of electromagnetic wave. So the cross product of this E bar cross B bar, that only gives you direction of electromagnetic wave. And this cross product, when you use it like this and divided with mu naught, that is given is Poynting vector. This is the Poynting vector. Now, displacement current, student. Displacement current, the one and only important question where the question you can expect. So the displacement current is equal to epsilon naught into rate of change of electric flux. Epsilon naught into rate of change of electric flux. Okay. And this electric flux, I can also write it as closed integral E bar dot ds bar. Maxwell's equations. Which among the following is the correct Maxwell's equations? You know this already. Gauss law for electricity. This is what this one. And Gauss law for magnetism, it is 0 because of the dipole nature. So for example, if you take a sphere and the magnet is kept, which is having negative and positive magnetic pole strength, how many field lines are moving out of this surface and the same amount of field lines are coming into the surface? So that means net flux is 0. Magnetic flux net is 0. So that is why integral B bar dot ds bar is 0. Faraday's laws also we know. E is equal to minus d phi by dt. So what is this? Induced current, induced EMF. That induced EMF will be represented with induced electric field. Look at here. This is the formula for induced electric field also. And Ampere's law with Maxwell's correction. So this is the part. This is the part is the displacement current. Just now we have discussed here. That's a displacement current. Right? So this is what Ampere circuit law. Integral B bar or DL bar is equal to mu naught into current enclosed. It's not only the conduction current, drift, that's displacement currents also need to be added for the case of closed integral B bar dot DL bar. That's called Ampere circuit law with Maxwell's correction. So this is what, see, if you're lucky enough from this slide, you may get a question, right? So don't take it casually. This chapter is also important. Just read it. It is just a theoretical chapter. Okay. Okay, my dear students, and get ready for your evening exam. All the very best. And the next class, we are starting with mechanical properties of solids, right? Get ready. All the very best.